Live. Welcome everybody to another live. Coach Nick Drossos. So I got a new client that I'm training online. His parents reached out to me. Great, amazing young man. He was diagnosed with ADHD and learning disabilities. And, part of the program of me getting him to exercise and eat healthy and basically turn around his life is also to coach him, to share a little bit of my experience with ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, my learning disabilities growing up. And this is what I'm going to share with you guys today. How to manage it, how to make it play to your favor, how to understand it, how to break it down, how to, as much as possible, get rid of all the pills they give you, Ritalin and other stuff, which they wanted to put me on, and find out your own balance of what you need to do to manage this. But before we start, guys and girls, if you want to learn more self-defense, go visit my website, nickdrossos.com. Just filmed a brand new fitness and combat conditioning series as well. All my new training videos are up there, as well as one-on-one coaching. I'm training people all around the world, so now we do it online. So I'll put the link in the comment box. So what are some of the ADHD methods I've used? First, let's really break down the label, because it's hard to know. Is it a label? Is it real? Isn't it real? I could tell you for myself, it was real, because I had a hard time. I couldn't finish high school because of it. At the time, 20 years ago, they didn't even know what ADHD. They basically thought you were dumb or slow. And I remember my teachers telling me that. You're dumb, you're slow. I'll be surprised if you amount to anything, if you do anything. And when you start doing bad in school and you start being a little bit more a troublemaker and more rowdy, because you're like, well, if I'm going to be shit in school, I might as well be funny or stupid, right? So I'd given up completely on the system, and the system had given up on me at the same time. It was one of the reasons why I couldn't finish my high school. And and I had to go work as a waiter, as a busboy. I had to go work at McDonald's. I worked all kinds of jobs. I worked in clubs, in bars, and I was lucky enough 10 years ago to fulfill my passion into a full-time career, or else I don't know what I'd be doing. Now, let me just kind of rewind on that. First thing about ADHD, again, if you want to believe in the label, we're not dumb, we're not slow, just our brains work differently. We see other things. The benefits of ADHD, what I look at, is we're very creative, very outside the box. I see how I am on a film set, when we're filming for Have the Boss to Talk About It. I could see things, I could write scripts, I could visualize better. I could hyper focus. So there's benefits, but there's drawbacks as well. When I was younger, I was all over the place. We have higher habits of getting into drugs or alcohol or like bad habits, because we tend to get addicted to stuff a little bit more. And I say, if you're going to build a habit, or if you're going to build an addiction, do a good one. Build a good one, which is training, eating well, exercising, mindfulness, habits like that. So if you could focus on that, well, there's going to be benefits. So I'm kind of going all over the place, and that's one of the things of my ADHD, is that my brain is like, it works a lot more faster, and sometimes even faster than I can write, faster than I can think, faster than I can talk. However, I'm going to break it down. So the first thing I like for people who've been diagnosed ADHD is your food. You have to be on a good, no sugar, no processed food, a healthy diet. This is mandatory number one. I know that when I eat like crap, I feel like crap, I can't focus. I could feel it if I eat too much sugar, if I eat too much junk food. My brain I almost feel that there's something that's off balance. And I think that's a general feeling that most people are going to have when they don't eat well. So definitely keeping a good diet, a good high protein diet, is the key. Now, I don't know how, also I'm gonna, the next thing is exercise. Exercise is what kept is what kept me focused, what kept me on a good straight path was exercise, training every day, 30 minutes to an hour. It's what's gonna create that mental focus, the clarity. It's what's gonna kind of reboot and recenter your mind and your body. So you gotta eat well, and your exercise has to be part of your daily routine. I know that when I didn't exercise, I tend to be more hyper. I can't focus as much because I have a lot of energy. Now, like my ADHD between 20s and 30s and 40s has completely changed. Obviously, with time, it slows down. But I mean, go back when I was 16 years old, we didn't exercise enough in school. So, you're telling a kid who's hyperactive to sit, an hour at a time, 6 hours a day in a class. I mean, it was impossible for me. I was shaking. I needed to move. Obviously, later on, I had the choice to be able to, go train, go exercise, and keep it as a daily routine. So eat well, exercise. The next thing I found is structure. You need structure. Our brains function better with everything being broken down. So, I mean, what I mean by that is, if you come to my house, everything is in place, everything is ordered, my schedule is in order. I know what I'm gonna plan. I plan every day, the day before, so I don't wake up and my brain goes all over the place. I'm kind of already focused on what I have to do, therefore I'm more productive with it, right? So, having an agenda, having a schedule, writing everything down, because as ADHD, because our mind goes all over the place, we tend to forget. So that structure is necessary for us to be able to stay on our course of the day and avoid wandering our minds and not knowing what we have to do. So you're gonna be more productive, you're gonna be better at work, you're gonna be better at everything you have to do in planning your day. So every night, the night before, like yesterday, the first thing I do is I plan my morning. So as soon as I wake up, I already know what I have to do for my day. It's broken down, it's structured. So really having a good breakdown. The next one that's very important, probably the first one is we need stability, meaning too much drama, too much chaos, too much, for me, noise. It sends me on a flare. Like, I mean, I go all over the place. And today, because we have the habit in terms of when we have ADHD to create big roller coaster rides. And we are responsible for creating them because we are the designers and the architects, and we make the choices in our lives. So one of the things that I've done today in my life, I have a very peaceful, quiet, you could call it consistent, repetitive life. For some people it might be boring, but I'm loving it because there's no more chaos, meaning I don't have any drama in my life. I don't have any toxic people. I've made peace and I live a peaceful life. I have the most amazing girlfriend in the world, the best partner I've ever had in my life. And just what she brings into my life is a calmness. And that allows me to, to just be able to have a peaceful, consistent life, right? So I avoid the big roller coasters, right? So make sure that your surrounding in your home is peaceful. Again, one of the things they say is due to ADHD, it's growing up in unstable, unsafe, fight or flight homes, which that was my situation. I grew up in an unstable home, a home where, I was in a constant fight or flight. So it made sense that I had ADHD because I never felt secure in my own home. So security, safety, no drama is very important. Another rule that I have as, being diagnosed with this is I don't make any decisions past 72 hours, meaning if I want to buy something, if I want to do something, if I've made a decision, I used to be very, very impulsive and I used to react on these decisions. Now, if before I make a decision, I sleep on it and I wait for a minimum of 3 days. If after 3 days, I still want it, I'm still feeling the same feeling for me, if I'm feeling the same way towards that decision that I wanted, or if I'm going to make a business decision, or I'm going to make a relationship decision, after 3 days, if I still feel the same way about it, then I do it. If not, then I scrap it, because we are impulsive buyers, impulsive decision makers, and it affects our lives in terms of business, relationship, friendship. So again, it's learning how to manage that, be aware of it, and know that when you're going to make a decision, be like, okay, let me just sleep on this for a couple of days and then take a decision. Another thing about ADHD as well is you need to figure out your own algorithm. And I talk about this in many videos. Figure out what makes you go high, what makes you go low, what makes you take. Write it down, so more or less you could start managing your do's, your don'ts, the good part of it, the bad part of it, so you could be more aware, because it could affect other people around you, right? So again, it could affect your relationships. It could affect your relationship with your girlfriend, your wife, your kids, your social life, your job. So by you starting to manage this and trying to figure it out and listening to the people around you, obviously people with a good common sense and understand it, you could start figuring out, well, how can I use this ADHD, what I call this creative mind, to my favor, right? Again, we talked about the drawbacks, but the benefits are what? We are creative. We are hypersensitive, which could be good and bad. We are, I believe more in tune with feelings, with emotions, with the universe around us. Generally speaking, we're more extroverts than introverts. We are, I look at the benefits that it has given me in my life, and I wouldn't change it for the world. That's why I refuse to take Ritalin and to take medication. And I remember when I took part in a study at the Children's Hospital 20 years ago. This is when ADHD, I was 19 years old, I wanted to go back to school. So I did a study, and the doctor told me, well, you're ADHD and you need medication. He goes, without medication, you're not gonna be able to function. You're not gonna be able to have a normal life. And I told him, I said, well, I said, call me dumb, call me stupid, but I'm not taking those pills, and I'll figure it out. And I did figure it out with a lot of highs and lows in my life. I did a lot of dumb decisions, a lot of things I look back and I'm like, wow. But again, it was part of the learning process and learning about myself and how to manage it. And again, today, like I'm telling you for watching this video, figure out how to manage it. Example, I'll give you guys a quick example. I have the tendency of forgetting a lot. So I have whiteboards all over my house. I have Post-its all over my house. So if I'm not so I don't forget something, I write it down and I post it, right? Until it becomes a habit, until I've wired it in there. So that's what works for me. I have my agendas. I write everything down. If I have an idea, I write it down because I might forget it. I keep a notepad behind in my bed, because if I wake up in the middle of the night with a great idea, I'm going to write it down. Also, another thing that's very important is that as ADHD, for me, reading was a very hard part. So what I did is, I read every night. Every night I read 10 pages, sometimes 5, but I make it a habit to read every night because I don't want to lose the ability to read properly, to learn new words, to research them, right? I'm much better audio. Obviously visual is my biggest strength, but you still want to work on those so you don't lose them, right? So I think I kind of went all over the place, and that's a little bit how my brain works. I really didn't take the time to structure it. But again, and the other thing is, don't be so hard on yourself, right? And if you're dating somebody, if you're friends with somebody, if your family or teachers are like, I can't take your ADHD, oh my God. Well, if you're around that type of environment, get rid of it. It's toxic. If you're not with somebody who's going to support you, who's going to see the benefits of it, who's going to be able to bring out the best out of you, who's going to maybe help you as well with it, then you don't want them in your life, because you don't want to feel like you're stupid or dumb or that you're not good enough or smart enough to be in a certain environment. So those are just some tips, guys and girls. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to learn more self-defense, go visit my website, nickdrossos.com. If you want some one-on-one online coaching as well, again, guys and girls, the baseline to our healthy and living life is eat well, exercise, practice mindfulness. I forgot meditation, actually. Every night, meditate, practice gratitude. Take some time to clear your mind. So another thing, I forgot about this. When you feel that your mind is like the thoughts are scrambling in your head, stop whatever you're doing and just put your hands on your chest and take a few deep breaths. Reset your mind. Shut down all the wires, all the neurons firing. Shut them all down. Breathe, and then just go back to what you're doing. Because I know I feel it sometimes when it's going all over the place. I'm like, okay, my brain is going on like overdrive right now. Too many thoughts, too many ideas, too much shit's firing. Stop, hands to the chest, take a couple of deep breaths, right? Recenter yourself, don't make any decisions at that moment, and then just go back to what you're doing. So you have that mindfulness, that meditation, I think that one of the most important things to living a good and healthy life, a long and healthy, happy life, is staying away from drama, staying away from negative people, toxic people. Routines are boring, but they create consistency. And sometimes, as boring as it might be for some people, to me, I see it as beneficial to my life, Even this curfew right now, I see people freaking out. I was talking to a friend of mine, oh, there's a curfew, I can't go out. I love the curfew. What does the curfew mean? At 8 o'clock, everything's shut down. At 8 o'clock, I'm ready to cool down my brain, my body, my mind. I'm doing my foam roller. I'm doing my stretching. You know what I mean? I'm taking some notes. I'm putting on the light, I'm putting on some music, some candles, I'm doing my stretches, and I'm just cooling down my whole mind and body from my long day, and I'm sleeping earlier, right? I'm not going out. So look at it as a benefit to what you're living, right? So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. What about honest, both CBD and THC has been working for me. Jake, thanks for sharing that. I haven't tried any of that. ADHD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I know I just do have post-traumatic stress disorder. I've been diagnosed with that as well. The post-traumatic stress disorder, to me, again, I use the same methods to manage my post-traumatic stress disorder, which is eat well, exercise, go see a life coach, go see a therapist, go to the root and rip it out of the root, be okay with it, accept it, learn from it, see the benefits of what you've been through, and you are the person you are because of the choices and decisions you've made, good or bad, but you got to get to the point where you look at all the bad decisions, quote unquote, and see them as learning decisions. And these are the decisions that made you a greater and better person and that helped you grow. So on that note, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit the bell, share the video, and that's it, guys. I'm out.